Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittney, this is the Brittney Reacts Show, and on this show we go over all things entertainment news, Hollywood news. We do have a bit of strike updates today. To be honest, there's not a whole lot to talk about. There's just a few topics that are interesting. We will be going over the new Marvels trailer, so it actually looks pretty good. I have to say, this was the strongest trailer yet. And then of course, probably the biggest news of the day, which is that Taylor Swift is having a new movie. So we're gonna talk about that. And then of course, I did mention we are gonna talk about the strikes a bit. We're gonna talk about how there's a few movies and shows that are getting waivers and can proceed without the strike rules being imposed on them. Like Adam Driver, for example, was just at the Venice Film Festival promoting a movie. So we have some interesting things to talk about. How are you guys doing, though? Hi Jojo Rod. Hi Natanya. Hi Phoenix Hunter. Hi Mary Lynn. Hi CCG. Hi Soggy Concha. Oh, I haven't seen you in a minute. Hi Fod Fareed. Hi Ajamin. Hi Munchie the Gnome. Hi Mickey. Hi the Free Rocket Man. Hi everyone who's here. Alright, so let's just jump straight into it, okay? So I'm actually going to start with entertainment news today. Not with Taylor, but with the Marvel trailer. So, I have to say, like I've been saying with the Marvels, one of my biggest issues with this entire movie is that it stars two people who you would have had to have seen two Disney Plus shows to really even know who they are or care. And I always thought that would be a huge barrier for like the everyday layman person who isn't a huge Marvel fan, who doesn't follow all this stuff, to really care about, because how are you gonna market this movie around three people when the audience, like the majority of people, might only know one? Well, the Marvels just released a new trailer today, and it looks like they realized that was an issue for a lot of people, or maybe they were listening to some criticism about that, because this entire trailer was just basically kind of refreshing the audience about where we've seen these characters before, where we saw Carol last, where we saw Monica Rambeau last, where we saw Miss Marvel last. So we're gonna just kind of scrub through it for a little bit today. There isn't really a whole lot of new footage to react to. As I said, they mostly just showed like past footage just to remind people, but I think that was smart. So firstly, it starts with reminding you of what happened with Carol. And I like that they even give you can see here at the bottom, you can see Captain Marvel's name and all the names of the movies and the shows that they're referencing here. So they're like, hey, go back to watch this movie to see this bit. Go back and watch this show to watch this character. So I think that's smart that Marvel's starting to do that in their marketing now. So we get some history on where Carol came from, basically a lot of flashbacks to what happened in the first Captain Marvel movie, all the way up through Endgame, and then we get to Monica Rambeau, where they give you a quick flashback of to remind people basically that she's a little girl from the first movie, and that she was also the same woman from WandaVision. Again, they showed WandaVision here in the corner. I think that's very smart that Marvel's starting to remind people of like where you saw these characters in the trailers. I think it's actually pretty necessary that they're doing this. And then they go on to remind you of where you saw Miss Marvel, which again, they put the name of the TV show in the corner. They give you a brief history of Miss Marvel, the character, and then they end the trailer giving you the premise of what the Marvels movie is about, which is about them switching like bodies and everything. So I think that's very, very smart. I think they needed to do this to remind people of who these people even are. And I think they're probably going to start doing this from now on, because I think Marvel has kind of lost a lot of the everyday like audience member. And so to get them back, I think they're going to have to do a lot of homework within the marketing just to catch some people up. So I think this is pretty, I think this is a good sign, and it's actually a good trailer. I think this was the first trailer I saw of it where I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't look bad. So maybe the Marvels, I still don't think it'll be a huge hit. The first one made $1 billion. I can't see this one making $1 billion. Definitely can't. But maybe it'll be not as much of a disaster as people are expecting. What do you guys think? Hi, CD Woods. Pop says, personally, I think this movie could be good, maybe not. Not make a lot of money. Yeah, it could be good and still might not make a lot of money. You're right. I think that's actually very possible. There are rumors that supposedly the test screenings for this movie went well, but I don't even like trust those rumors about test screenings anymore. Just because The Flash apparently had great test screenings, but we saw how that went. There's so many movies where it's like, oh, but the people who they reviewed the movie ahead of time, they liked it, and then you find out the movie was trash. I don't trust those anymore, so even though they're saying the movie is good, I don't trust it, but we'll see. We'll see. MW says the S at the end of Marvels looks like the Take 5 gum logo. It does look like a 5. I've been thinking that myself. It looks like a 5. Professor Strangefinger says, has streaming ruined the cinema-going experience forever? Not every movie had to cost $65 million back then. I think streaming has definitely changed the industry forever. I don't know if it's ruined it yet. I think that the industry can still fight back. I mean, still people are interested in seeing their stuff. They're still interested in going to theaters. I just think that it's changed everything completely, and maybe not always for the better. Mary Lynn Sherry says the Marvels will flop no matter how good the movie actually is. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I've already done a poll on this movie. I know the majority of you are not excited about it. But to be fair, I think it's nice that Marvel is at least trying. Again, I think it's smart how they structured this trailer. It's all about reminding you who these characters are, which I think at this point is very necessary. So we'll see how it does. Very curious. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel to never miss a live stream, and also please make sure you like the video, because it really does help share the video out to more people, so we can have more people in the chat. Alright. Reactions 5 says, do you think that people would not understand the Marvels? Also, will we have to understand Secret Invasion to understand, to understand it? I watched one episode, I don't know if I want to revisit it. I don't know, because Secret Invasion is also supposed to be one of the Marvel shows that we're supposed to watch to understand this movie. And they didn't include Secret Invasion, by the way, as one of the shows you had to watch to catch up on the movie. So maybe we don't need to know much about Secret Invasion, but then what was the point of even sharing Secret Invasion if it's not actually going to be important for the overall Marvel mythos? So I'm just very, very confused. Fantasy Fox says, I'm not interested in seeing the Marvels. Yeah, I know. I know a lot of people aren't. Blue Gecko Nerd says, it's kind of boring when Marvel shows us the same thing over and over again. It's repetitive at this point. I think you're right. I think they're trying to branch out and do new things. I heard that they were, at one point, this movie was supposed to have musical numbers. I think that was Marvel's attempt at trying to do something different, but I just don't know if, like, that was how they should try to diversify. I think they should look at, honestly, they should look at, like, again, movies like Everything Everywhere All at Once. Not to keep bringing that movie up, but when you saw that movie compared to something like Multiverse of Madness, which is also a multiverse movie, and you can just see clearly, like, where Marvel's version of the multiverse failed and where they could have done things different to make it more interesting and fresh. I really think it just comes down to the writing at the end of the day. I think they just need better writers for all of this stuff, to be honest. All right. Any more thoughts on the Marvels before we move on to the next story? Oh no, you guys don't want the musical numbers. Well, there are no more musical numbers. Apparently, they took them all out. I also saw a rumor that the movie is only going to be like an hour and a half or something really short like that. So, I don't know. This movie is like a wild card. I think it's probably even a wild card for Marvel themselves. I bet they're probably like, I have no idea how this movie's going to do. I bet they're probably panicking, not going to lie. Because if the Marvels does flop, like say it's like a Quantumania level disaster, okay? That's pretty bad. That means that out of the 3 movies that Marvel released this year, they would have had 2 major bombs and then 1 actual hit. But even the 1 hit that's Guardians 3 still would have made less money than the last Guardians movie. So that's still sort of like a successful disappointment. And then you look at what's coming out next year, and we've already like looked at their future slate, and they have Thunderbolts, which is another movie I'm not so sure about. You have the Captain America movie with the Falcon as the new captain, which is probably going to be very controversial. I'm glad they changed the name. They were going to call that movie New World Order. Like, what were they thinking? And then you have Deadpool 3, which could do very well, and I think it will do very well. But as I've repeatedly said, I'm probably the only person that doesn't think that movie's a guaranteed billion-dollar film. So there's also potential for Deadpool 3 to disappoint. I honestly think there is. So yeah, I think if the Marvels really does do that poorly, I think that's going to be like the canary in the coal mine for an even worse 2024. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Kitty Cat says, the main characters in the Marvel I don't feel a connection to or a sense of relatability, and this is coming from a woman. Yeah, I think that comes a lot from how both Disney and Marvel write women. I feel like, and this is why I think Barbie gets it right. I feel like the way Disney does women is like, they try to make women seem like such like perfect sort of like girl bosses that it's almost like they can't even be relatable to most women, which is something that Barbie, the movie, actually touched on at the very end, where it's like, what if I don't have all these crazy ambitions or don't want to be a girl boss? And, you know, the movie touched about that. And I feel like Disney still very much thinks that the archetype of a strong female character is only like one personality type, and that is just not a type that I think is very relatable for anyone, even men. So yeah, I think they have a real issue with just how they write women, to be honest. All right, moving on to the next topic. There's going to be a Barbenheimer movie. Now, this is from a very minor studio, so I don't think this is going to be like some huge blockbuster or anything. It's not. But this is the synopsis. Listen to this. It's going to be from a B movie called Barbenheimer, and it's going to be a wild comedy about dolls building an atomic bomb. So they're turning the meme and making a whole movie about it. So I'm kind of curious about this. I'm sure it's probably going to be very cheap. Nothing to write home about. I mean, this is the poster. Look at this. This is the cheapest looking, I just learned Photoshop yesterday poster, but I mean, the fact that the meme became so popular that it made both Barbie and Oppenheimer become like billion-dollar hits, and then now it's spawning its own movie? I mean, we're going to talk about how Hollywood is trying to replicate the Barbenheimer thing once we talk about Taylor Swift in a second. But this is not the way. This is definitely not the way. This poster is definitely giving graphic design is my passion. But you know, they tried. D-cup, A-bomb. That's kind of clever, maybe. Anyone actually gonna see this? I might, if it's interesting enough, I might review it just for the fun of it. Maybe. I have to see more though. Yeah, Hollywood is definitely trying to capitalize more on the Barbenheimer thing, though, for sure. Speaking of which, let's get to the Taylor Swift stuff. All right, so Taylor Swift, she's making a movie. She is making a movie out of her very successful Eras tour. I mean, I think this is not totally surprising. This tour is making billions of dollars. Like, I'm pretty sure it's one of the most successful tours ever. I think it makes a lot of sense to put it in theaters, and I actually think that this movie is going to do very, very well. I think that this has the potential of possibly being like the highest grossing concert tour movie ever, which, to be fair, the bar isn't that high. The highest grossing opening for a concert film is actually the Hannah Montana concert film, which I did see in theaters back in 2008. And that opened with 30 million. I think this movie is definitely going to open higher than that. In fact, there's already pre-sales for this movie because the tickets already went on sale, and they're already incredible. Um, and Taylor and her team are trying to make this an event. So they're not just making this like a regular concert movie, because several artists have made concert movies before. Concert movies aren't a new thing. They're not even a new thing to be put in theaters. But she's trying to turn this into like a Barbie level event where people go dress up. They, talk about it with their friends, because she's encouraging her fans to show up in Eras attire. So basically, what they would wear to the concert. Friendship bracelets, which has been a real thing that they do at the concerts. And she's encouraging everyone to go singing and dancing in the theater. So if you go to the theater, please do not complain that people are loud and singing and dancing, because you're definitely going to see a lot of that. I think this is actually going to do very, very well. In fact, oh yeah, and she's also got merch. She's got merch. Okay, she's got exclusive popcorn buckets and exclusive cups that you can buy in the theater. So she's really making a huge event out of this. And according to, I think it's Fandango, the pre-sales for this are akin to a major Marvel movie. They've already sold past $10 million worth of ticket sales for this movie. So, yeah, it's definitely going to do very, very well. Angel Barrera, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. The tour made billions of dollars. Wow, at least 12 people bought tickets. I think a lot more than 12 people bought tickets, but you're not wrong. You're at least 12. You're not wrong. Thank you for the super chat. Oh, okay. LP Harris thinks this is genius. It is genius, especially to release the movie while the tour is still going, so the tour is still at its peak popularity. I think it's very smart. And in fact, people were really hoping that this would turn into another Barbenheimer situation, because the movie was going to open on the same day as the new Exorcist movie. And so people were trying to turn this into a new Barbenheimer. I saw names like the Exorcist. I saw names like the Era Swift, Exorcist, or, some sort of combination of the names. People were already trying to make it a thing. But it looks like Jason Blum and company blinked, because they already moved The Exorcist a week up to avoid Taylor's movie, because they know it's going to be a big hit. So I think that says two things. Firstly, the fact that people were actually disappointed that they moved this movie, because they wanted another Barbenheimer situation. And secondly, the fact that the producers behind the Exorcist movie think that this movie is enough of a threat that they moved their own film to avoid having to open on the same day as it. I think that's also pretty telling. John Burns, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. My friend plays American Trucker Simulator, and she calls herself Trailer Swift. I suggest Milesy Cyrus, the key to a great friendship. It does sound like a great friendship. I like those names too. I'm a sucker for puns. Thank you for the super chat. Mikey calls it the Exo Swift. It could have been something. Would you have guys? Do you think the Exo Swift thing would have actually caught on like Barbenheimer did? I actually think there could have been a chance. People were genuinely upset that they moved this movie already. Like, people were already starting to make memes. I actually think this was a mistake on behalf of Jason Blum, who is the producer behind this movie. I think he should have kept it on the same date. He would have benefited from it the same way Oppenheimer benefited from being on the same day as Barbie. I guarantee it. John Burns, thank you again for the super chat. Any writer strike protests for Taylor's movie? Actually, that's a great question. So I don't think that this movie goes against strike rules, because it's not, like, there's no actors in it, there's no acting, it's just a documentary. So I think that can get past, like, all the strike rules, because it's not an actual, like, movie with actors and SAG people and, people who are part of any guilds, essentially. I think that's how she's getting away with it. Black Star says, we still have Saw Patrol, guys. I don't know, I feel like people keep talking about Saw Patrol so much, it might end up being a thing, just out of irony. Ordo Franciscus Solaris. Hope I said that right, says, I already know what happens in Exorcist Believer. Definitely not interested. It's going to be a major disappointment. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. Um, I've heard a lot of these Exorcist movies are disappointments, so I don't know. Maybe they just don't know how to make Exorcist movies anymore. But we'll see. I think both movies could do well, but I think it was definitely a mistake to move because this could have been a thing. Now it is opening on the same day as Martin Scorsese's new movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, Killers of the Flower Moon. I don't know if that has the same Barbenheimer meminess. Like, I feel like The Exorcist and Taylor Swift is, like, just prime for memes, where I don't know if Killers of the Flower Moon really is gonna inspire the same sort of imagination. But maybe there could be some sort of new Barbenheimer moment from this, but I don't think it strikes the same chord, to be honest. Anyone gonna see either of these movies? Maybe I should do a poll. You know what? I'm gonna do a poll. Who's interested in seeing the Taylor Swift movie? Let's see. Taylor Swift movie. I'm gonna say, heck yeah, I'm a Swiftie. Wait, hold on. And then I'm gonna say, oh my gosh, what the heck? I can't type. Okay. And then I'm gonna say, no, never. Third option for, I'll wait for streaming. So those are your options. Okay. And that's it. Asking now. So I do have a super chat from Brienne Solis. Thank you so much for the super chat, Brienne. If artists do what Taylor Swift is doing, would that help movie theaters stay afloat? Didn't even know about the Exorcist movie till this live. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I bet a lot of people didn't even know there was a new Exorcist movie came out until this whole, like, Exorcist Swift thing happened. It was a missed opportunity. I'm telling you, they made a mistake with that. But anyway, I do think this will help theaters. In fact, Beyonce, I do have another tweet here. So it looks like Beyonce has a visual album that she might be releasing. I don't know if she's going to release it in theaters, but if she does, she might be the next artist to do something similar. So this could be interesting. I think that we're already starting to see, like, movie going becoming more eventized and more about, you know, in order to actually make people want to go to the theater, it has to be something so huge that everyone's talking about that people feel like they'll have FOMO if they don't go see it, which is the fear of missing out. And I think that they're doing a very, very good job with, like, Taylor is doing, making, like, encouraging people to dress up and, you know, bring their friendship bracelets and all that. I think she's trying to eventize it. I think that's very smart. I think if other celebrities do something similar, I think they could also have really big success. I think there's a very real possibility that movie going could become, like, not just a place for movies, but in a place for events. I think that is very possible. But thank you for the super chat. Also, John Burns has another super chat. Thank you so much. The only good Exorcist, the first one, and Repossessed. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of people really only like the first one. Everyone who I talked to about these movies, they're like, yeah, they should have stopped after the first one. Thank you for the super chat. Going back to the poll. Okay, 53% of you are like, no, you're never seeing this movie. I probably won't be seeing it. Not probably. I know I won't be seeing this. I'm just not a huge Swiftie. I'm not a Swiftie at all. I don't really care for her music. Sorry, don't come for me. Don't come for me. I can respect her as an artist and who she is, but I'm just not that into her. But I can also understand that this movie is going to make a lot of money at the same time. 25% of you are like, heck yeah, I'm a Swiftie, so it seems like I have a lot of Swifties in my audience. That's very funny. 22% of you are saying you'll just wait for streaming, which is still pretty good. So a lot of you are going to watch this on streaming. You know what? I might watch this on streaming too. Why not? But I definitely do not want to be in the theater full of people singing songs that I don't know. That is just not going to be me. But I'm going to end the poll now. Thank you for participating in the poll. John Burns has another super chat. Thank you so much. Leslie Nelson was in Repossessed, Exorcist parody. Oh, I didn't know that. I've never heard of the Repossessed one. Interesting. Maybe I should check it out. Thank you for the super chat. Crystal says, I'm not a Swiftie either. I love the idea of dressing it up, making it an event. Yeah, I know. I love a good event. Indie Sunflower says, I'm definitely not a Swiftie, but I would see it because it's cool. I feel like that's why it's so smart to make it sort of an event. Because I could see a lot of people going to see this movie who aren't even like Taylor Swift fans, just because it feels like the thing to do of the moment. Oh, Natanya says, it's okay, Brittany, we all have different tastes. Thank you so much. I just know some people are like very protective of their faves. Blue Gecko Nerd says, Brittany, it's okay, I'm a Swiftie, so I'm not like the other fandoms who are crazy. I'm glad you're understanding. I like some of her songs, I do. I think probably my favorite of hers was, I don't know, I heard Sweet Nothing recently, and I really like that one. So I like some of her songs. To be fair, I do need to say this movie is not going to be like something that's going to be out every single day. She's pretty much just got booked like a few days in October. So she's got the opening weekend booked, and then she's got a few random days she's got a few other days booked in October. So this isn't something you're going to be able to see just like every day while it's in theaters like a regular movie. It's pretty much a limited release, which I think is smart. I think it also creates more FOMO because you can only get to so many theaters. And I also think it makes it more of an event because it's so contained within like, you can only see it within like a few short days. So I think this is very smart. She's a good businesswoman, I have to say. Anyone have any thoughts about this? Anyone like super excited? Pop says, I'm not a Swiftie, but I like the one or two. I'll just never understand the hype, to be honest. Yeah, I'm kind of in that camp where I'm like, I like her. I've never been into the hype. Star Film Studio says, I will not watch this movie. That's fair. That's very fair. Fodfried says, Red is my favorite album. Second is 1989. Okay, that's fair. Seems like I have a lot of Swifties here. So I won't say anything bad about your fave, don't worry. Now, I do want to get to the member question today. I did ask you guys about the new Taylor Swift movie. I asked my members, now that Taylor's doing this and she's trying to make it an event, do you think that more artists should do the same? And who else would you want to see do this? I got a lot of really good posts, so thank you everyone who posted here. And of course, thank you everyone for being a member. Brienne Solis says, this is unusual, but not a bad idea. It's not even that unusual, although I will say it is unusual that she's putting it in theaters now, because I would say for like the past 5 to 6 years, concert films have been going straight to streaming. Like they've just been going straight to Netflix, but they used to go to theaters fairly often. I even saw the One Direction concert movie in theaters. Natanya Mulling says, yeah, this is a good idea. Artists have documentaries for their concerts on streaming platforms, exactly what I just said. For example, Olivia Rodrigo, Ariana Grande, and Billie Eilish. Gives people opportunities who miss out on the concert, plus it's more affordable. Exactly. People have been doing these documentaries, but it is, I guess, kind of rare to put it in theaters because they haven't been doing that for a while. Malik Lockhart says, this isn't a bad idea. Lots of artists have done the concert/touring movies, but they've almost all have gone to streaming. Yep. Testing how this does in theaters is a good experiment. I really think more artists could do this. Like, imagine if... I'm not a BTS stan, but I know that there are a ton of BTS stans out there. Imagine if BTS had a sing-along concert and they encouraged their ARMY fan to come to the theater dressed up and like encourage them to sing along or something. That might actually do well. Or like with Beyonce, Rihanna, any of the big ones. I feel like as long as movie going is becoming more of an eventized thing, people can capitalize on that. Turn whatever you've got into an event, and there you go. Turn it into a real movie concert in person. Fantasy Fox says, I want to see it, but the theaters are practically sold out already. I know. I was just curious to see how quickly the tickets will sell here in New York. And already for some of the biggest theaters, like the opening night, Thursday and Friday and Saturday are already sold out. So that's pretty impressive. CCG says, I honestly don't think you guys understand the demand for Eras Tour tickets and how the movie is filling that gap. Oh no, I'm not underestimating it. I think, okay, if you guys want to talk numbers, let's talk numbers. I think that this movie has a very real possibility of not even getting past 100 million domestically, but opening past. I know that sounds crazy. A concert movie opening past 100 million, but if anyone could do it, I think Taylor is one of them. I think that this movie could do that well. It's already selling like a Marvel film. So I don't think it's out of the I don't think it's out of the question that the opening could be as high as like 100 million or more. I think it could be something that crazy. And worldwide could be something even higher. I think this movie could be another really big surprise hit like Barbie. It won't make nearly as much as Barbie. Not saying that. It's still a limited release, but I think it is going to make a ton of money. What do you guys think? LP Harris says they could make it like a cup sleeve event with limited merch. They actually have the limited merch. I just showed it with the popcorn bucket. I'm surprised they don't have more, to be honest. Taylor Swift is notorious for making merch out of everything, so this is very restrained for her. The World's Forgotten says, what Beyonce did with Beychella would kill at the box office. Exactly! Do something like that. I think that would have... You're right. Beychella's performance... or beyond Beychella's performance. Beyonce's performance at Coachella. You're right. I totally think that would have done super well. Cinephile says 100% it can open over 100 million. So I'm glad I'm not the only person who thinks that. Josh also thinks it can open over 100 million. Yeah, I think... Here's the thing, though. Because it's such a limited release, even if it does open up over 100 million, it's not gonna, like, grow to, like, 500 million or something. I think it'll make the majority of its money in, like, the first weekend, and then that'll be it. But 100 million for a concert film is still really good. Hearts for Mads already has tickets. Okay. Pop says, out of all the Singer movies, I would watch a Gorillaz movie with all the characters and the fun animation and character designs. Okay, so who would you guys want to watch in a concert movie? I know not all of you are Taylor Swift fans, so who would you be excited to see in concert? You guys know I would see Harry Styles, so here's my vote. But who else would you want to see? Editing Geek says there's a showtime at a theater near me with only one ticket sold. Oh, wow. So maybe it'll only sell well in certain areas. I can see that. I did have to say, I checked for just to see how well the movie was selling in Harlem. It's not selling in Harlem that well at all. So it definitely, I think, probably depends on where you live. Stephanie also wants Harriet. See? There we go. Ghost. Okay. A Gorillaz movie. Oh, we have a new member! Troy Pistol, thank you so much for becoming a new member. I really appreciate it. Speaking of the members, I can get to another member comment. Who else did I miss? Nicholas Wilson, thank you for being a member, says, I think theaters are looking for ways to diversify their content with the strikes hitting new releases. Yep. And with waning audiences generally for a while now. This is why I think it's so smart. In fact, AMC is the one that spearheaded this with Taylor. So I think AMC is doing something really smart. They're seeing the tea leaves. They're seeing how the strike's going. They're seeing that the strike is probably going to last like a very long time. And they're like, well, crap, we need other things to put in our movies other than, we need other things to put in our theaters other than movies, because at one point, there's just not going to be a lot of movies to put in the theaters, and plus, people aren't always seeing the movies that are coming to theaters. So they need to find other things to give them money, essentially. And I think this is, like, making an event out of concert movies is one thing that they can do. If this does really well, I can totally see so many other artists copying this and doing the same thing. And I could see a lot of them being very successful. In fact, didn't we just talk about last week how Sony has filed a patent where now you could go in a theater and play on the PS5 with like 100 people at once on like a live game in a movie theater. So movie theaters are playing around with different things. So maybe that'll be something else. Maybe we'll also get like gaming events in movie theaters where everyone comes in and I don't know, takes out their console and like games on the screen or something. They're definitely playing around with like multiple different offerings in theaters for sure, other than movies. In fact, I think my prediction is I can see a future where like 10 years from now, where the movie theater isn't even seen as just a place for movies anymore. It's like more of a entertainment venue space. I can really see that, to be honest. I know that sounds crazy and out there, but I think the industry is changing enough that I think that's a very real possibility. Um, Editing Geek says, my dream is for the final episode of Stranger Things to be re-released in IMAX. Oh, not re-release, release in IMAX. You're absolutely right. That's a great example, Editing Geek. Could you guys imagine the final episode of Stranger Things being released in IMAX? How well would that do? That's totally something they should do. They should also bring like TV show, like really popular episodes of like big TV shows. They should also put those in theaters. That's a good idea. Like imagine when House of the Dragon comes back. Or even The Last of Us. Like you could have those first episodes played in theaters, and I actually think they would do pretty well, even as just an event for like one weekend. I think they would do really well. Um, Reaction says I liked Hamilton. You know what the Eras Tour movie is reminding me of? It's kind of reminding me of the Hamilton situation with Disney Plus, where Hamilton did super well on Disney Plus when it was released there because here in New York. So that's why I think the Eras Tour movie actually could do very well because of the similar situation where a lot of people want to see the concert but couldn't because it's expensive or it's sold out. So all those people are going to go see the movie instead. If that happens, this movie could make like multiple hundreds of millions. I think this movie has real potential to do like a surprising amount of business, to be honest. Um oh no. Okay. Okay, it's back now. Oh, it's good. It's good. All right. We can hear everything. Sorry about that. It just completely went out and I could not get it back. So we're all good now. Sorry about that again. I think I need to just get an entirely new mic. I've been trying to make it work, trying to do things to fix it, but it's not working. Anyway, you guys can hear me now. Sorry about that. Going back to talking about the Taylor Swift movie. Jordan Davis says this is like the video games idea that you talked about some days ago. That's exactly what I just brought up. Hopefully you guys heard that. And just like that one, I think theaters should experiment with these type of things. It might be fun. And yes, everyone join the party if it works. Yes, I don't know if you guys heard that, but I did just talk about it like maybe last week, where their theaters are starting to experiment with like people playing games in theaters and turning that into an event too. I could see that becoming very popular as well. Did you guys hear my 10-year prediction, or was I on mute then? On what I think theaters could turn into. I did touch the mic, Dee Dee. I don't know what happened. Uh, not a Britney stream without that. Don't say that. Stop. Um, MW says, to be honest, I would rather watch a foreign film or a re-release of a classic than a concert in theaters. I think they are re-releasing a lot of movies, so I think that could be something else that happens too. Okay, you did hear my 10-year prediction. Good. All right. So I wasn't sure how long I was muted. Yeah, I think that I can totally see movie, just even the concept of a movie, even I can see that evolving over time. I think that Martin Scorsese's comment about movies becoming like theme parks is becoming more and more prophetic each day. Because I can definitely see a situation where like 10 years from now, movies aren't even like really cinema. They're really just like more some sort of immersive fun experience, cuz like that's the kind of thing that blockbusters are becoming nowadays, where it's not really about the art, it's about like, can you cheer in a theater, can you go ooh and ah, like, does that make sense? Am I making sense? I think that it's not so much about the art of movies anymore, it's about like the experience of going to the theater and like the FOMO of it all. Do you know what I mean? Um, oh no, Crystal says the audio struggle is a charm. Okay. Okay, I'm glad you see it that way. Cynthia C says Deadline reported that Taylor's movie is selling like a Marvel movie. Yes, we just talked about that. It sold 10 million in pre-sales. That's why I actually think there is a very real possibility this movie could open either close to or even over 100 million. I think that's a real possibility. The hype is there. Um, Pop says, wait, I have an idea. What if AMC did like week-long events with shows where they show The Last of Us as an example, and show one episode at a certain hour for a week? Dude, I would love that. Could you imagine if they did do that for really popular shows where they showed the episode in theaters once a week? There would definitely be people who would do that. Like, again, like any of the Game of Thrones shows. Imagine if they showed a Game of Thrones episode week to week. People would show up to that, and I think it would do really big numbers. They should definitely do that. Or Stranger Things, as we just mentioned. Imagine if they showed Stranger Things in theaters week to week. People would show up for that. Yeah, I think they definitely just need to experiment with more than just movies, for sure. Tegan and Holperuni says, Scorsese was right and was quite wise. It was quite a wise comment. People went nuts instead of listening. I know, he got such backlash over that comment, but really, he was not wrong. We're seeing it all happen before our eyes. And if you've ever been into one of those 4DX theaters where the seat's moving, I actually did that and I saw Black Widow in it. And it was like a full circle moment for me, because I was like, this is exactly what Martin Scorsese was talking about. Because my seat was moving as I was watching a Marvel movie, and it literally felt like a ride. It felt like an amusement park ride, and I was like, holy crap, he was right. It was a fun ride, though, I won't even lie. I enjoyed myself, but yeah. Jordan Davis says, I would see the Coraline re-release. You know, I wanted to see the Coraline re-release myself, but I couldn't find any tickets near me, and I was really upset about that. But that re-release actually did really well, so I was happy to see that. All right, so that's, oh yeah, we do have some strike news. I want to get to that really quick. I did mention, as I said in the beginning, that we do have a few movies and a few shows that have a waiver to actually allow them and allow the celebrities who are a part of it to promote the movie. Because remember, as some of the strike rules states, actors cannot film at any movie locations or do any TV productions or anything like that. They can't take part in any press junkets or any film premieres. And of course, they can't promote anything, not even their past work on social media. So it's a really huge deal that Adam Driver actually went to the film festival, because he's like one of the only actors that's actually able to promote their work right now, and it's because he has a waiver. And the reason he has a waiver is because the studio he's working with actually said yes to all of SAG's demands, so that's how he's allowed to actually promote his film. And he said, why is it that a smaller distribution company can meet the demands of what SAG is asking for, but Netflix and Amazon can't? And I think that is very true. If these smaller studios like A24 can say yes to SAG's demands, why can't multi-trillion-dollar companies like Amazon and Apple say yes? They obviously have the money. They have more money than everyone. They have enough money to buy up all of these other studios and still be like rich as all hell. Yet they don't want to say yes to giving what writers are out only asking for like 0.18% of, a profit increase. Like that's nothing. That's nothing. It just shows you how greedy these studios are. So I think it's really nice that we have some studios that are willing to work with the writers and the actors and are willing to like actually make deals with these unions. Because I think that's really important. I think this actually goes back to what I was saying yesterday, that this is why I think the studios are actually severely in the disadvantaged position at this moment. Because not only is everyone angry at them, so they have like the entire world kind of against them at the moment, but also they're already seeing how there's different production companies that are not aligning with them. They're able to work with the creatives, they're able to work with the actors and the writers and still make stuff and still promote stuff, and everything's, working harmoniously with them, like with the whole Adam Driver situation. So I think what we're going to see with the end of this strike thing is I think we're going to see a lot of studios start to break away because it's already starting to happen. And we're going to see not all the studios are, maybe we'll see like, I don't know, some of the smaller studios compared to like the Apples, like maybe Paramount will say, you know what, we're not with the AMPTP anymore. We're going to say yes to SAG. And maybe they'll all start breaking apart that way. Because it really does seem like if anyone can just go to another production company to work with who will actually respect their creatives, it seems like the creatives don't really need the AMPTP anymore. And the more and more studios that decide to break away from them and work with the unions, the more of that will become the case. So that's why I think the writers and actors have a very real possibility of winning this strike, because they're in a very strong position at this moment because they're already getting all these other production companies to say yes to their demands. What do you guys think? Anyone interested in this movie? It's called Ferrari. I haven't talked about it on my channel at all just because it didn't seem like this type of thing you guys would be interested in. But it is another Oscar bait kind of film from Adam Driver. He does a lot of these movies. He really, really, really wants an Oscar. Why are you guys talking about 65? That was that dinosaur movie he was in. I never saw it, though. Adam Driver was the guy, he plays Kylo Ren in the Star Wars movies. You should know who Adam Driver is. Joe says, these studio CEOs would never accept the deals they want actors to accept. That's why they make so much money. They are liars. Oh yeah, it's all about money and greed. That's why they won't accept it. Because most of you haven't heard of it. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yellow Umbrella says, I love when the chat sidetracks. What are y'all talking about? Why are y'all talking about that dinosaur movie? All right, you guys are clearly not interested in this story, but I thought I'd at least update you on it because I think it is a major development in the overall strike saga. Just because I think it's showing that we're already getting a lot of actors and production companies breaking away. So I think we're probably going to see more and more of this happen. Now, I have one piece of WTF news because I know you guys like the WTF news, and I didn't have it yesterday, and I saw you guys were disappointed. So I'm going to try to include some WTF news now since you guys keep asking for it. And the WTF news of the day is actually about Trump. They're going to live stream this man's trial on YouTube. He's going to be inescapable during this trial. You guys thought that the Depp trial was unescapable. You thought that the Gwyneth Paltrow trial was everywhere. Oh my god. This is going to be a nightmare. And it's on YouTube, y'all. And it's on YouTube. It's going to be a living nightmare being on the internet when this happens. So I thought this was interesting. I thought I had to share with you guys and warn you. What do you guys think? I'm glad you guys are excited for WTF news. He wants to be Johnny Depp. Bro, WTF, I know. Will there be comments enabled? I have no idea. I mean, I feel like they're inviting the entire internet to just watch this. Like, I feel like the entire internet will be watching this, especially if they're making it so accessible. Oh my god, this is all anyone will be talking about. Yeah, his mugshot was pretty funny. But anyway, this is really it. When is his trial? I didn't even say that. Does it give a date? On Thursday. Oh no, they confirmed it on Thursday. I don't know. When is the date? It doesn't give the date. I don't know, but whenever this happens, and I'm not gonna update it on it. I'm not, a political channel. I don't really talk about politics. I just think it's really funny that they're putting this on YouTube for the world to watch and speculate. It's gonna be an event sport. Everyone's gonna be talking about it. Everyone. So anyway, that's the last topic I had for today. Like I said, there really wasn't a lot of news today. Really, the biggest story was the whole Taylor Swift thing, and we talked about it for a good minute. So yeah, you guys can just ask me about anything for the next, 10 minutes or so. It could be about the Taylor movie or about anything. Yeah, just a quick Q&A, and that'll be it for today. As always, I do want to confirm with you guys that tomorrow's stream is actually at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, Fridays will be at 1 p.m. And tomorrow will also will be my roast, my live roast of The Flash. So if you guys want to see me roast The Flash live, please be here tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think that's going to be really fun. I'm actually going to watch the movie right after this live stream, so... I'm going to take notes, guys. I'm going to take notes. I'm so curious. Hi, Jaden's Toys. Hi, Lexi. It's okay you came late. Maybe you can watch tomorrow. I might watch the One Piece movie. Maybe. Do you guys actually care about the One Piece series at all? I'm curious. So you guys gonna be here for my Flash roast tomorrow? It's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be really fun. The Karma Girl says, love the stream. Helped me feel better when I had a huge headache. I'm so sorry you had a headache. I'm glad this made you feel better. Brianne Solace says, a little behind on the chat. My dog tried to pull me down when she saw a cat. Oh no, I know how that is. I have a dog myself. Dogs, they feel like they own you sometimes. Alright. Blue Gecko Nerd wants Holes commentary. Why did you want Holes commentary? That's such a random movie that came out forever ago. I do like the film. I don't know. Maybe one day next week, if there's just nothing to talk about, I might do a quick Holes segment. I don't know. Brianna does art. Oh, hi, Brianna. Says, please make the One Piece movie go away. It's everywhere. I know. A lot of people are talking about it. Maybe I should review it. You guys want to see my dog? Oh, he's not here. I'm sorry. He's not gonna come here. Okay, I'll take about 3 more questions, and that'll be the end of the live stream for today. Again, I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. for the Flash roasting of your lives. Because I have a lot of opinions already. I've seen enough from social media that I already have a lot of hot opinions. Already. So, it's gonna be interesting. A lot of you don't care about the One Piece movie. That's fine. The Yellow Umbrella says, Brittney, are you going to see the Avatar The Last Airbender show? Yes! I can't wait for the new Avatar The Last Airbender. I can't wait. That is one of my most anticipated series coming up in the next few years. I'm going to cover the heck out of that show. Brianna Desart says, I will bring the marshmallows for the roast. Okay. Cool. Joe says, thoughts on the Harry Potter reboot? I think... Oh my god, I think that entire show is gonna be like with the game, where it's just gonna be non-stop controversy until the thing comes out, and then it does gangbuster numbers because everyone's been, talking about it for months because of controversy. I think that's what's gonna happen. I wonder if it'll be good. The only reason I think that show has any chance at being good is because HBO is doing it. If anyone else was doing it, I would be very worried about the quality of the Harry Potter reboot, but it might actually be a good show, though I don't know. Also, the casting is going to be very tricky. Who are they going to cast? Those are such iconic roles. Who are they going to cast? I don't know. I'm very curious to see how that does, to be honest. Reaction 5 says, have you heard of Percy Jackson? Yes, I'm just trying to ask before you sign off. Yes, I have heard of Percy Jackson. I know they're doing a new show. I've seen some of the pictures from the new show. It looks alright. I don't think it looks like it's for me, to be honest. But I did like the Logan Lerman movie that came out like over 10 years ago. I actually saw that movie on a field trip. And it was really funny because my teacher was so disappointed because she thought the movie would be more educational about Greek mythology than it was. And she was like, "Oh, that for nothing." And we were just like, "Yay, we had a day off of school." All right, one more question. Um, Pop says, Britt, I have a question. Out of all the reboots or spin offs that could happen, what would be one you'd actually watch and be excited for and be a huge hit? All the ones that are actually happening? I don't know. Well, I think the Wicked movie, it's not really. Uh, how? Oh my god. How long was I mute? No. Did you hear me say Wicked? I just went on a whole spiel about how much I love Wicked and how I think Wicked is gonna do really well. And I don't think you heard any of it. Because I was trying to answer the question. Someone asked me, what movie coming out do I actually think will do well? And I made a whole comment, a whole speech about how Wicked will be the next Barbie movie. I don't think anyone heard it. But yes, Wicked. I think Wicked can make not just $1 billion. I think it could make like I said about what Barbie made, like 1.4, 1.5 billion. I think it could be that huge. I think Wicked is as popular as Hamilton, if not more, from the theater kids' perspective. I used to be a huge theater kid, so that's how I know this. I'm telling you guys, Wicked has a big enough audience and fan base that that movie, if it's good, it has to be good, firstly. If it's good, if it looks good, if the marketing is good, I think that movie could genuinely make $1 billion. I think the Wicked movie will be huge, mark my words. Like how I called Barbie, I'm calling Wicked. I'm calling it. All right. That was the last thing. I'm so sorry about the volume issues. I'm going to buy a new mic. I think I just have to at this point. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. for the flash roasting. It'll be really fun. I'm really excited for that. So I'll look forward to it. I'll see you then.